guys, welcome back to the podcast. Shout out to these gentlemen over here. We're gonna get right into it. Let's talk about that North London derby. Let's talk about it.
Oh man.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, sure.
Andrew, how you feel?
The two mistakes that happened, and we gave you guys the game. With
Wait, we're
sloppy
mistakes.
Okay, a sloppy defending.
Mistakes.
Or goaltending.
Wait, you guys scored off a penalty.
That you guys gave us.
Facts.
Thank
Oh
you.
my god!
Gabriel
We dominated that
no
whole
right.
game. We dominated that whole game.
Domination is the game when you're playing at home, am I
mean,
right? So we played our
It doesn't
game in
matter
the
where we play.
counterattack, and I'm telling you what, the first half of the game, y'all were very, very lucky that we had some passes.
I don't know what game you were watching. I know it was early. You were probably still like sleepy, but I watched a totally different game, man. I don't know what you were watching.
Domination is weird because yes, you had the ball. But we also had our attacks.
We also got 3 goals.
Yeah.
Two of them that we gave you.
Thanks? What do you want me to do?
A goal's a goal, man. At the end of the day, we dominated possession. We dominated you guys defensively. Only, like you said, there was one.
You had lucky because our passing was not good. And our half, I should say, y'all's half of the field, our passing was
Where was Harry Kane?
Atrocious. Yeah, the passing
Nowhere.
was
Where was Son? Nowhere. Where was Richarlison? Nowhere.
That's okay. It's
we got to check Saliba's pockets, bro.
Home.
We got to check Saliba's pockets, bro. They still in there.
Honestly.
So
we'll see. Second game is always different, just like last year when you bottled that one. We'll see what happens this year.
We're top of the league.
For now.
We're top of the league.
I'll say as like an outside perspective watching the game, a player that looked really good was Martinelli. He was dribbling at people, taking people on, like creating chances left and right.
Hey, I did say it. Watch out for Martinelli.
He looked really good, and I think, the error that between Romero and Lloris, I don't know who you want to say whose fault that is, but that's just something that can happen, and it's unfortunate because that's something that I've seen from Lloris like time and time again, like.
Yeah,
it happened against us one time where it gave us a victory at the death, the year we won the league, I believe. So,
and the red card wasn't really a red card. It really wasn't that big of a red. I mean, yes, I understand why they called it a red card, but like it was just unfortunate timing of where he went to make the tackle, where the player was bringing his foot up and he was going down. So like I don't think it was a red card. Sure, call it a red card, but call it a yellow and go to VAR. That's what VAR's there for to help. I mean, we wanted this. Get a yellow. If it's red, they'll change it to a red.
At the end of the day,
but they didn't.
At the end of the day, the referees in the Prem are inconsistent. I wouldn't have been surprised if it wasn't a red because I mean, nowadays like they call anything a red and then they call anything a penalty.
That got a worse one.
That should have been a red.
It was bad too. Yeah, absolutely.
It was worse.
I also want to shout out Arsenal for like the mentality because sometimes when teams get when they give away a penalty when they're winning like 1-0 and they give away a penalty and the draw happens, sometimes your mentality can like kind of sway, but they kept the mentality. They scored early in the second half. The red card kind of changes the game a little bit, but I think they did a really good job of sticking to the plan like even after the penalty happened, because sometimes, especially you got a young team, there's not a lot of inexperience. They really showed their like heart and their maturity there in that instance for sure.
Real quick before we move on, I just want to talk about I understand Andrew in a little bit thinks it was luck, right? But at the end of the day, we dominated possession. We had 22 total shots. You guys had 7. And it was 65-35 possession. We had the ball.
Even before the red.
So, yes, maybe it wouldn't have been 3-1, but I do believe we would have won either 2-1.
Hey, we were close on the predictions. We said 3-2.
Yeah, we said 3-2. So, I just think, you guys didn't have enough offense, in my opinion. Harry Kane was nowhere to be found. Besides the penalty, that was the only thing he did. And then Son, I couldn't find him. Didn't have any sort of positive impact. But that's how it's kind of a testament to how you guys play. You guys play very defensive. You guys play this very defensive back line, and you saw as soon as that red card happened, my man threw 5 defenders on the field. So it just shows you that he has no faith in the offense, and obviously we won. So at the end of the day,
he came for Doherty's neck today, didn't he? They asked him about it. Why wasn't he playing? And
because it is different because I think he generally wanted Perisic and Cess, and I don't know why he didn't do that because Cess has done really good shutting out superstars, but he went with Real and it totally backfired, and they just brought up with Matt, but Matt also had a serious injury, and then he actually is coming back a lot earlier. He was only supposed to be coming back to training about now. and he's been in training for about a month now. So I think it was more of like just making sure that he's 100% ready physically and mentally to go. And that's why it was a little slander, but I don't think it's slander. I just think, hey, he needs to tell him, hey, step it up. It's your time to go. You're gonna play. You need to step it up.
Before we move on, do you think that's like the right way for a manager, like to call out a player in front of the press?
I just know that like if that was Arteta coming for a player and he said the same thing, the media would be all over it. They would have just been coming for his neck.
The difference between Arteta and freaking Conte. Conte's a winner. Conte's a winner. He's a serious winner. He's been doing it.
That was first.
But I think you get more of a. I think he's right though. I think you get more of a. Yeah, but I think you get more of a pass. Like I don't know if you want to elaborate. I think you get more of a pass when you're established like a Conte.
Absolutely, but also I don't know the exact quote. If he was going for Doherty, I think it is a little bit too much. They have a lot of options at right back, and he went with the best. He went with what he thought was the best decision. They brought in Jed Spence, who has not been vetted into the team. That was like a big signing in the summer that hasn't really they haven't really played him too much. And like he said, Doherty coming after the injury, but to call out the player. I didn't see the quote specifically. He was
more just like I didn't want to lose the game, kind of like.
Yeah, and I get that too.
I'm not an idiot.
He was talking
That's
about
what he said.
Spence. He was talking about Spence. That whole thing started because why aren't you playing Jed Spence? Gotcha. That's what the question was, and then he went to the right back depth and explained what he was doing. Gotcha. And that's why, because honestly, it should have been Perisic over Real. But anyway, gotcha. We'll move on.
Yeah. So I mean, enough about that. Let's talk a little bit about let's get Spencer included in here a little bit. Spencer, let's talk about Liverpool. What did you think about this weekend? I was on my phone at work and I was like, oh shoot, Liverpool's down. What did you think about the game?
It was an atrocious start to the game and basically has been the epitome of everything we've done since the Champions League final, even a little before that too, of going down early, not being ready from the start. Like the mentality has not been there from the beginning of the games, from the beginning of this season. There's been lapses. Van Dijk, the first goal we gave up, I talked about it previously with the midfield sometimes letting down the defense. So, Trent makes the clearance. It's not the greatest clearance in the world, but then Henderson gets bodied and it leaves Trent exposed. And he got cooked and Trossard put it away. He had a phenomenal game. He played really well. I thought we showed, we came back. We got the 3 goals. The last goal was a little lucky. It was an own goal. Goes in. And, it was a step in the right direction, of course, in terms of showing grit and determination, something that Man City has shown all season long, when they go down against Villa, against Newcastle, and they come back and win the game or get a result. And at 3-2, I really thought we were going to get the 3 points, but again, it's another small lapse in judgment that can't happen. I think Brighton's a good team. They got a new manager who came from a league where he was dominating the league with Shakhtar, so he has that winning mentality that it's a new manager bounce. It's weird because they were doing well before they got a new manager, but in general, it was a tough game. I thought the midfield let us down, and again, Trent and Van Dijk just not quite on it.
Do you question for you? Do you think that Firmino continues to start? I mean, he had a fantastic game, and obviously we all know that you guys had Darwin Núñez as a marquee signing. And it was a surprise to me. I don't know if that was something that was going to be a thing where you wanted maybe to get Darwin Núñez rest before the week this week. But Firmino played outstanding. What do you think happens moving forward?
It's a good problem to have. Obviously, Núñez played in the international break. Jota played in the international break. So they were just trying to rotate the lineup. And sometimes you over rotate. Sometimes you just got to go with your strongest lineup. But Firmino is playing really well. Scored 2 goals. Had 2 goals and 3 assists previously. I think this midweek coming up against Rangers could be an opportunity for Núñez to get a start and try to get a goal against not necessarily a weaker team, but a team that we should beat. I think it won't be quite so easy, but we should get the win. And moving forward against Arsenal, it's going to be a tough decision. I think Firmino should start, but I think they should try to find a way to play Jota as well, because since he came back, when he's on the field, we look completely different. He's very direct. He's great at creating. He's great at scoring goals. So, the front 3 against Arsenal, I think it will be Salah, Diaz, Jota, but, Firmino off the bench is not a bad option.
Yeah. I mean, now that you're talking about Arsenal, we obviously have a game coming up this weekend against you guys. What do you think of that game? Do you think you guys come up with a win? You know, obviously we've been in a really good form. We've been playing really well. And I think for you guys, maybe up to the standards that you guys are accustomed to playing, you guys aren't trash. You know, obviously we know the quality that Liverpool have within the team. But as of late, I feel like you guys haven't been playing to those strengths. What do you think happens this weekend?
You guys are playing really well. And you're at home, so I think the edge is clearly in y'all's favor, especially if you're going on form. Under Klopp, at the beginning, when he first took over, we had some crazy games. Some like 3-3s, 3-2s, a lot of goal scoring. I think it might be the same this week because our defense doesn't look good. Your offense looks great. But, we've got a lot of options. And we also have players that, for whatever reason, turn up against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Firmino and Jota are,
Diaz, too.
Diaz as well, like in the cup competitions and, in the league as well. They've looked really good against you guys. So anything could happen. But I think it will be a high-scoring draw, probably a 2-2 or a 3-3. Or you guys could bag a late winner if there's another lapse by, Trent, Van Dijk, any of those guys.
You think Trent's good enough to guard my boy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it doesn't have a quality. I don't think is the issue. I think it's like effort and hustle, motivation. I think maybe it's possible the fact that he's played so well in his career. He's only 23 and he doesn't have the trust of the national team manager. Maybe it's in his head like a little bit. The World Cup's coming up. He's on the fringe of the squad. But at the same time, he's a Liverpool lad. He's Scouse. He should turn up every game for Liverpool. And, I'd like to see his mentality change as the season goes on.
I mean, this is a hot take. I don't know if this is a hot take for everybody else. But, for me, going into next game, I personally would probably say start Firmino. Top assist guy, top scorer, top rated player on your team. Obviously Nunez is quality, but I would play the guy in form, and I feel like in form right now is and it might obviously Nunez was out with once he got the red card, he was out a few games, but Firmino being playing at the quality that he's playing, he's been the main reason you guys even had a chance last game, and so I would you reward the player that's doing good. I mean, on our end we have the problem with Benny Blanco, like he's not a right back naturally, but he's been playing so well where it's like if it's not broken, don't fix it. So me personally, that's just like my outsider's viewpoint. I don't know if you agree or disagree.
I absolutely agree, but I don't think the conversation is really about Nunez. I don't think he deserves to start in the Premier League. Obviously, we'll give him an opportunity against Rangers. If if he goes out there, bags 3 goals against Rangers, then go throw him out there. But I really think it is between Jota or Firmino to start through the center. They could throw Jota out on left wing, but then you're leaving Diaz out. So I would love to play Firmino because he does play well against y'all and he's played well recently. We'll just have to see what the squad is looking like because everything changes day to day.
Yeah.
All these games that are being played and everything, but Firmino, like I said, he has been playing well, so he could get the start. But he's a creator. He is scoring goals right now, but Jota is a little more direct, can get him behind, is a better finisher. So it's a tough call, and I'm glad I'm not making that decision.
So where would you play Nunez? You just wouldn't start him, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I just don't think he's ready to play in the Premier League, especially against the team on top of the table. Just I think it would be very ballsy for Klopp to play him then.
Dang.
And it would also require a formation change, which I don't think Klopp is ready to do. Andrew has actually brought up us playing 3 at the back a lot recently, and I think we do have the center backs to do that. Van Dijk looks really good in the back 3 for the Netherlands. I just don't see Klopp as that. I've said it before. Klopp's number one fault, not that he has many, is his inflexibility. He goes with the same lineup all the time. He goes with the same formation all the time. We played a back 3, I believe, twice in his time at Liverpool. And one of those times was, an injury crisis, and we played Wijnaldum at center back.
Oh my
and he, I believe, got an inform on FIFA at center back for that position. So, like I said, super versatile, and we miss Wijnaldum a lot. But, I think just the fact that he's inflexible, we won't see that sort of formation. I'd like to see Firmino behind a striker as a number 10 because of his defensive work rate. But that's maybe like a FIFA formation and not necessarily like a real life thing because I'm not watching these players train day in, day out. But, I would love to see 2 strikers, but then we're losing out on the midfield. You're playing Fabinho and, probably Thiago or Henderson, who's, not that mobile, not, covering that much ground. So I'm not quite sure how we would rock, a 4-2-3-1 or even like a 3-4-3 or anything like that.
All right. So, yeah, thank you, bro. Let's move on a little bit. I do want to talk about City and, the tremendous work that Haaland's putting in. We're number 1 right now, obviously, but we know what's right behind us. Let's start with you. I just want to ask you real quick, as an Arsenal fan, do you think Arsenal have the squad to hold off a City? Or do you think City is just that much ahead of us? Like, what do you think?
Honestly, if you would have asked me this question at the beginning of the season, I would have obviously been like, no, because we're going for top 4. Realistically, like, speaking, I don't think we'll be title contenders just because we look really good right now. But it's 8 games into the season.
Yeah.
Our squad that isn't there yet. Obviously, if we add maybe 1 or 2 players in the January transfer market, then possibly. But our squad is so thin at the moment. We're not a City that they could just last game it was like the 80th minute against Man U and then you bring in Mahrez. We don't have that type of like
luxury.
Yeah, the luxury to like bring on players like that. Obviously, our squad is young, like I mentioned before, and I think we'll definitely fight up there. But it all comes down to injuries, how long we can keep playing the way we're playing. I mean, it's the Prem, it's a lot of games to go. There's still 30 games to go. But I mean, I'm happy how we're playing. But honestly, any other team, I can't see any other team right now competing with City at the moment, like at all. Liverpool had its struggles. Tottenham were playing well. Chelsea's been, they get lucky like last minute winners. That's like twice already, I think, this season. Man U? Man U's gonna be Man U.
They either win big or lose big, basically.
Yeah, there's no in between with them. I don't think they ever catch form. I never seen them. Everybody's like, Man U's back. I haven't heard that. I mean, obviously their fans are very they like to talk a lot because that's how they are. But I don't see anyone else on top of the table like competing with Man City. And Man City with Haaland, man, Haaland's putting in work. He's a monster. He's different. It's crazy. They were comparing Haaland and Nunez at the beginning of the season because everybody thought that was gonna be an actual battle, and.
Yeah, the Community Shield definitely sold us a dream.
Big time, yeah.
Absolutely.
And then Haaland, he missed a sitter in that game. Everybody's he's gonna be a bum. He's not gonna play well. And then look at him now. He's like fastest player to like have these many hat tricks in the Prem.
3 hat tricks already in 8 games.
That's insane.
The next stat I saw, it was Michael Owen, Liverpool player. He had 3 hat tricks after 52 games. Yep. So he beat the record by 44 games. He's an absolute animal.
He's on pace to get at least 35 goals. There's no other way.
Can I ask I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Do you guys think Haaland is doing? Obviously, we saw what he did in Dortmund. Do you guys think he's doing this on another Premier League team? Like, yes. Realistically, you guys do.
Yeah, if he can any one of our teams. I mean.
Top 4 team, top 6 team, he could do this.
Liverpool, respectively, even City.
I think he'll fit in any system.
And even on Manchester.
Okay, so now let me ask you another question. Me and Luis are in a group chat, and somebody made the comment that said, I think a lot of people right now are overreacting because Haaland is playing so well. Do you guys think that right now, Haaland or Mbappe? Who's the better player?
I was thinking about this recently, and I think a lot of people have been, I've seen Thierry Henry say and a few other pundits that, Mbappe creates. He does other things. But if you watch the last game, Haaland was creating too. He had 2 assists, both of which were excellent. The first goal to Foden, inch-perfect pass, through ball, right behind the line, a great cross. And the second one, he receives the ball in the hole, turns, receives the pressure, and lays it off to Foden. So I think he's just, right now, he's doing it in the Premier League. We all said, he's in a better league. He's not going to do it. Maybe I just don't watch Mbappe enough. He's incredible. He's got the pace. He can dribble. He does everything. It's going to be like this Ronaldo-Messi debate that we've had for the last 15 years where everybody can pull out different stats and he did it in the Champions League. He's won this. He's won that. it's going to be fun to watch, absolutely. In form right now, I would rather have Haaland than Mbappe, 100%.
And then to extend on that question, talking about Ronaldo and Messi, do we think, honestly, this will be the next, like, Ronaldo and Messi debate? Haaland and Mbappe. No? You don't think so? How come?
No, because before they were even teenagers, Messi and Ronaldo were being talked about. And yes, we were talking about Mbappe as a teenager, but we weren't talking, I mean, what was 8, 19? I guess maybe it was.
But the records are
teenager
breaking
for
right
all
now.
of them.
Haaland and
breaking
Mbappe,
records.
that's
They're both
insane.
breaking
But Messi and Ronaldo on a whole nother level.
No, of course. That's why I'm but this is
But
like the
this
closest
is
one.
yeah, okay, I can agree with that. The closest we might get. To
But then
Messi and
they're
Ronaldo,
still young,
but
and
by
the thing is, like, so many great
21 and 22.
750
and
goals
so
for
many
Messi and Ronaldo.
young
Like, it's something
players,
stupid.
so many great young players like Neymar during the time that probably would have won the Ballon d'Or if Messi and Ronaldo weren't playing during the time frame. So it's like I feel like Ronaldo and Messi are getting old, and then
So 22 and 23. My bad.
you know they're still
Now,
very
that's like-
Haaland and Mbappe. You know Mbappe already won the World Cup. Haaland's breaking records left and right. He just got to the Prem. So I'm it's just
You can't compare, but yes,
They're
they are
next
close.
up. They're like
superstars.
They're
but
next
they're not
up.
Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah. But not yet. They're next up.
No.
I don't know if they're gonna get
Messi
to that
was
level.
doing it when he was 16. Dude.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
I see what you're saying for sure, but I mean, I just don't think we're going to see that type of player anymore. People aren't getting that kind of chances. I think a lot of young players might look at, like, you know, Haaland did it at 18, 19. He had hat tricks for Salzburg in the Champions League at that young age with a, you know, not a poor squad, but definitely not Man City. And, you know, Messi got opportunities when he was 16 in the greatest team we've probably ever seen under one of the greatest coaches of all time. So, you know, players are maybe looking at like Wayne Rooney, who was getting crazy minutes as a 16, 17-year-old, and his knees were shot by the time he was 30. So, you know, you're seeing players, at least in our academy, who I think, you know, it looks crazy. Like there's a player, Oakley Cannonier, has, you know, a 2-to-1 goal ratio in the U18s. And I'm like, why isn't he getting a shot? You know, it's because maybe he's not physically there. Messi was gifted on another level technically. And maybe players are, you know, taking less risks because they want to play longer and they want to make more money.
Sure.
Yep.
No, I'm with that. Guys, we're about to wrap up, but before we do, I do want to talk about these midweek fixtures. Obviously, those who are watching, we know that Arsenal were in the Europa, but these two folks to our right are playing Champions League football. You're not gonna do anything in them, so it's all fine. You
The
can
money
no
is good
participation
enough.
trophies. Hey, but once we get in there, and that's another thing, man. Once we get in there, we're gonna get in there this year, bro. Like,
It's because their standards are so high. We went to the Champions League like what for like 20 years in a row or whatever, like more than that. And then obviously it's a rebuilding
back.
phase. You know, we'll be back, and it's
6,
the
7.
Champions League without Arsenal. It doesn't feel the same. It's not just as an Arsenal fan.
I think for y'all, I mean, I maybe because I just started watching like maybe 10 years ago, but like I haven't felt, I want them back for sure because I think they are a great club, but I think the Champions League would be the same without Liverpool, I think really like if you
Real Madrid and Barca too.
yeah, once you start seeing players like Ronaldo missing out on Champions League, is as a Liverpool fan, I don't like Man U and I don't like Ronaldo, but it does feel different. It feels weird without him either. So, you know, clubs come and go, but like those like stars, if we saw like Haaland playing Europa League or Mbappe playing in Europa League, I think it would definitely feel weird. But, you know, for y'all, I understand. You know, when we weren't making Champions League every year, I definitely felt, you know, some type of way. And I see the drive from you guys to want to be back in it, and it will be better with y'all, for sure.
But, you know, you said the fixtures. So,
Yeah, talk about
you
your
know,
fixture.
Frankfurt,
What do you think?
tough game. I mean, Frankfurt's going to be tough.
It's away.
No matter what.
It's in
Yeah,
Germany.
Exactly.
Great fans.
But they've been slacking.
I mean, they lost a couple of players.
They just beat the top team in Germany.
We need to win.
And you guys are defensive.
We need to win. But we need to
No,
win.
they play 5 at the back as well, I think.
I'll just keep this easy.
They do. They play wing backs.
We're going to win 3-1.
Okay, I was just about to ask you. Okay, so 3-1. All right, real quick. Let's go Arsenal.
Wednesday?
No,
No, the days before.
no,
All right, let's go. All right, let's do Wednesday.
All right,
Wednesday.
all right, let's do
Talk
Wednesday.
Champions
let's do
League.
Wednesday.
We're not talking about
But we should have started with us.
bottom feeder.
But you guys, what Rangers, right?
Yeah, we play Rangers. It's at home.
32-yard. Jeff Wilson. Shout out Jeff Wilson.
Yep. Nobody bet him for the first touchdown.
Anyway.
Yeah, I did. I had one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay,
one,
good for you.
yeah.
But I think it's gonna be not an easy fixture, but we should win handily. I think we will concede just because our defense is poor. We're gonna rotate. I hope Nunez gets out there and gets a goal, and I'm gonna say a 3-1 victory for Liverpool midweek.
Okay.
And you, sir, that's the second team in their league, Bodo Glimt. What do you think Arsenal do?
The way we're playing, I think we should definitely win. It's obviously we're probably not gonna go with the strongest squad. Coming off Tottenham, we need a little break for most of the players, and then we got Liverpool right after on Sunday. So I think regardless, I think we should get the win.
Score?
Tough, man. 2-1 or something.
I'm gonna say 2-0.
I want to keep a clean sheet, but you never know with these teams.
They Matt
They're
Turner.
there for a reason.
Yeah,
And like I said, you could over rotate and
and
disrespect them.
it kills the rhythm as well with the team.
Yeah.
If you over rotate too many players, you change the lineup a lot. But I'll still give Arsenal the win. I'll say 2-1.
Yeah, I
2-1
think
to
y'all
Arsenal.
will win as well. They did. Bodo Glimt, they upset Roma last year. They had a couple good victories in Europe last
I
year.
think they crushed Roma last year.
Yeah, they did like a 4-0 or something like that. But that being said, it should be a victory for Arsenal. Is Nketiah healthy?
Yeah.
No,
I think
Yeah,
he'll
we'll
have a
start,
brace.
yeah.
I think he'll have a brace.
Okay, get
Yeah.
those bets in. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, yo, get those bets in for real. Guys, thanks again for tuning in. We had a great episode. We'll have more content coming soon. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, tell a friend, repost it on your stories. Shout us out. And with that, we're out. Peace.